All right, my friends, I'm back. Kris Krohn here, and today I want to share this with you. My number one secret for how you make over $1 million in a year. Have you ever heard that adage that you and I become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with? Let's do some quick math. Let's talk about that. And then I'm going to share the number one secret because it's going to piggyback. Check it out. This is you, my friend, in your life, and you're happy, except you're also kind of sad because you're thinking, man, I'm trying to figure out a way to get myself where I want to go. And I do this exercise and I say, who are the 5 people in your life that you spend the most time with? These are your 5 friends. And we say, how much do they each make? Well, first of all, how much do you make? Let's say that you're average American and you're producing $44,000 a year. Well, you hang out with Bob, and Bob makes $50,000 a year. You also really like Susie, and Susie makes $30,000 a year. And this is Jimbo, and Jimbo makes $45,000 a year. This is your friend Marcia, who's also really cool. She makes $60,000 a year. And this is Barney, and that's a horrible name, but Barney makes $42,000 a year, okay? Now, if I were to take the 5 people that I'm spending the most time with, and if I actually add them up and divide by 5, or the number of people, let's check out what actually happens here. Okay, so we get 50,000, and we get her 30,000, and his 45,000, and Barney's 42,000, and my other friend's money, and we divide it by 5. And look, these 5 friends, they average out $45,400 a year. You have been ripped off. You're only making $44,000 a year. Usually, plus or minus 10% is the amount of money we make with all of our friends. Now, why is that significant? Well, before I can tell you the secret to making $1 million in a year, I need you to understand something. The group of you all here, you guys, you have very similar thought patterns. There's things that you similarly hate and don't like. There's things that are acceptable to you and things that are not acceptable. There's appropriate ways to think. There's rights, societal norms, and things that basically allow this to be a very special circle of friends. And what that circle of friends does is it creates a comfort zone. And here's the crazy thing. If you want more of what you've been getting, it will be found inside of here. But if you want something different that you've never had before, will it be found in here? Not likely. Money certainly won't. That's going to be found here, or here, or here. So are you going to have to get out of your comfort zone? Yes. Just imagine for a moment if you stopped spending so much time with Barney because you found out that he was the actor on the cartoon and he dressed up in the hi kids, and you're like, I can't hang out with that guy anymore. So you make a new friend. And this friend's name is Shaun White. And he's a snowboarder for the Olympics and has won gold Olympic medals. And Shaun White makes $1 million a year. First of all, if you've been hanging out with these people and all of a sudden start spending some time with Shaun, things are going to get really weird for your friends. And also for you, because when you hang out with Shaun, you're like, this is kind of weird. He's an Olympian and he thinks different. Like, he's got like this indomitable spirit and like, he just, I don't know, he has this crazy amount of confidence, and we don't have that. And when your friends hang out with Shaun, they're like, Shaun's pretty cool, but he's not like us. Crabs in a bucket, we pull each other down. Your friends will not like you hanging out with this person. Why? Because actually, Shaun isn't in here. He's actually out here. He's outside the comfort zone, and that's not comforting for them. Friends, I'm just telling you about the way society works. I mean, we surround ourselves with a group of people and we hang out with them until we die. Here's the principle I want to teach you. Today, this principle for what you do to make $1 million in a year, it's called proximity is power. What does that mean? Let me tell you what it means. It means that in the past, when I joined up with Tony Robbins and I joined his Platinum Mastermind, I was with 300 other members from around the world. We would travel the globe together, and these were people that were making anywhere from millions to tens of millions, some of them hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Now, I started spending a significant amount of time with these people. Many of them actually became my friends. And here's what the proximity of power means. It means that you want to, anything that you want in life that you don't have, You need to find a way to spend your time with those people that have it. And your friends, they're not gonna like it very much. And for some of you, you're gonna be like, dude, I can't ditch my family and friends. I'm not asking you to. But I'm gonna tell you right now, they're not gonna like it. I mean, be honest. Any of you that are involved in my real estate community and we're out there doing real estate, you shared my videos with your parents or other people, dude, there's a good chance they're watching and saying, dude, that guy's a scam artist. That's probably not even his house. He probably rented that car and those clothes. Dude, I had someone recently, I took a video walking by my hallway and someone's like, dude, that's not even your house. Look at the pictures. They all look Asian. They're very Caucasian looking. But they're trying so hard to justify that the way that I'm living my life is so different from them that I'm bad because I'm different. And that's usually what different means. We create this otherness. Well, I decided to pay $150,000 just for my first year membership to travel around the world. And I spent time in multiple countries with a whole pile of new friends. In fact, earlier today, I had one of them that lives in New York that was actually out here visiting with me. We were doing some skiing together. He came in for a YouTube video. We're doing some business together. I got one of my other friends I met in this community that I'm doing some business with, a really big deal. My first friend that I made in the community, I made $600,000 meeting him and working with him for a handful of months. I mean, guys, I just want you to understand something. If you want your circumstances to change, if you want your finances to change, the power of proximity is all about spending time with the individuals that have or have already achieved what you haven't. When you make this brand new circle of influence, individuals where this person is making, let's say, $1 million, and this person's making $500,000, and this person's making $10 million, and this person's making $600,000, and this person is making $30 million. Do you know what happens to you? I mean, to be frank and honest, right now, I'm going to tell you, come spend several days with me at my next event. I put on a financial workshop. It is days of you locked in a room with me, teaching you the entire blueprint for the financial laws of destiny. It's teaching you the blueprint of wealth creation. It's giving you $1 million game plan. It's teaching you the rules of how to create wealth. It's teaching you how to build your cash flow machine. It's giving you the systems of wealth creation. All of those specific pieces, those are just a part of everything I do in my events. And when you do, you're actually getting in my proximity to someone that's done 3,500 deals. And I need you to understand something. People that spend time with me end up doing more real estate than when they don't. Why? Because I've done almost $1 billion worth of real estate. If someone says real estate is how I'm going to build wealth, you don't get it. You need to get as much proximity as you possibly can to those individuals. You've got to hunt down, search, find, pay whatever price. You want to know what the real money is? People are living so freaking check to check that at the end of the day, they don't have the money to invest in the only thing truly worth investing in. And do you know who that is? That's you. This right here. What you learned in college, that's designed to give you a career, a job. It's about paying your bills. It's not designed to give you financial legacy, financial freedom, or empowerment. And if that's important to you, then you need an education you haven't gotten before. You do everything in your power, you save your money, and whatever you got left over, you should be investing that in the assets that grow you financially, and you invest it in the people that you can gain proximity to. You should be paying to go to events. You should be paying for flights. Most of us are living life according to Parkin's Law. Parkin's Law says that we live within 10% of what we make. So by the way, if you were making 50 grand a year and you watched my video on doubling your income and then made 100 grand a year, you would also increase your lifestyle to around 100 grand a year. Now you might be saying, I wouldn't do that. I would save and I would invest the difference. I hope you do. Almost nobody does that. A conscious trained person would do that. What you really are needing right here in your life is to take that money and you need to invest in who? In you. You need to put yourself into the proximity of people who have what you want. Not one person, not two. You surround yourself. Now, when you do, I'm going to give you a heads up here. You're definitely going to have some people, family and friends, that are going to poo-poo it. They're going to say, no way, you're making the wrong decision. This isn't what we taught you. You're wrong. Because remember, they've trained you to honor their belief system that they got from their parents. And it just continues. This is why the poor get poorer and the rich get richer. Once in a while, you find someone that says, I'm a transitional character. And by the way, in the comments below, if you're a transitional character, I want you to comment right now, I'm a transitional character. It doesn't mean that you ditch your family, doesn't mean you ditch your friends, but it means that you are absolutely making room for proximity to people Not a little bit more where you want to be, not a lot more. People, you want to reach up as high as you possibly can. That's why I have mentors who are billionaires. I paid $100,000 to go to an event next month, and it's just 6 days. Why would I pay $100,000 for a 6-day event? Well, friends, I've done it in the past, and it made me over $1 million last year. Wouldn't you do that? How many of you would trade $100,000 for $1 million? Would you trade $1,000 for $10,000? When you invest in yourself, you give yourself the opportunity to grow the most. So friends, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've been getting great value out of it. I want to tell you something. You're watching this because you want to be in the game of real estate. Now, if you're curious, you should subscribe and keep watching videos. If you're serious, you should click the link. You should learn about the date of my next event, and then you say this: no matter what, heaven or hell wide or whatever it's going to be, I'm getting to that event no matter what. I don't care if I've got, finals. I don't care if I've got class or school or anything. It's time for you to make an investment into yourself that works. And whether it's me and my event or the next event or somebody else, bottom line is you're not going to start changing your circumstance of life until you start changing this. And the way to change this is by gaining proximity to the individuals that can get you there. So, you want to know how to make $1 million in a year? Simple. Hard for many to do. You get to decide. You've got to find a way to start hanging out with multimillionaires. 5. And when you start hanging out with 5 multimillionaires, watch. It will not take a lot of time before you figure out the key, and all of a sudden you elevate to those that you've surrounded yourself with. Choose your friends wisely. And if you know I'm one of them, I better see you at my next event.